Jim Stankus from Elmwood Park Memorial High School. Good afternoon, Jim.
Hello, everybody.
All right, Jim, what do you teach?
Well, I teach ninth grade through 12th grade. I teach world history, U.S. History 1, basically everything. Uh, I've taught all different courses throughout the years, AP Euro, American History through film. I've taught in past years world history, American government, economics. If it's social studies, I've covered
Oh,
it at one
wow.
time or another.
Wow. And how many years have you been teaching? You say?
It's hard to keep count, actually.
Many.
It's actually 25 years. I
25
started in
years. Yeah.
1995, and
Wow.
I was an elementary school teacher back then.
Oh, okay. So you made
I had,
the big jump. Wow, that's quite a
yeah,
transition. Great.
yeah. I had third graders. I had middle school kids at one time, and
Wow.
then over to high school. So yeah, I've been all over the
Yeah,
course of
the educational. Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, so tell me a little bit about your approach to teaching. Maybe a little bit of your educational philosophy. What do you love about history? Any of the above.
Oh, okay. Well, I would say I'm kind of a utilitarian
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to education.
Mm-hmm.
My philosophy is to do the most good for the greatest amount of people.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
and that's my target, basically.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I found that even when I was in college and stuff, it was not fulfilling other occupations for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to be more helping people, more of a hands-on approach,
Yeah.
and so teaching seemed like the natural fit.
Yeah. I
And
agree. Yeah.
my own education in high school wasn't a great one. I was kind of like one of those troublemakers, you
Oh,
know.
okay. Right.
So I kind of relate to that a little bit,
Yeah.
and I think it helps me in the classroom a lot.
I imagine it does. Yeah, absolutely. Great. And then before we conclude, I do want to bring up something you mentioned before about before we went into this quarantine, you actually brought up the idea of pandemics with your class. Do you want to just talk a little bit about that? Because I think giving the kids the historical background is really interesting.
Well, yeah, back in February, I actually had a session with the students, and we talked about pandemics, and we referenced an article in Upfront magazine
Oh, yeah, yeah.
as well, and also the New York Times was running articles on it. And so we looked into pandemics and the history of them and what happens during a pandemic, and we had like a question and answer session,
Yeah,
and it was quite interesting.
yeah,
What happens in the economy, what happens to the government,
yeah,
how do you handle something that is going to go through every aspect of society
yeah,
and invisible. So uh, I feel like I tried to prepare my students
yeah. No,
as
that's a good
best I could,
background. Yeah.
in seeing what was coming down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I, as I was telling them, what's happening, what we see happening in China, what we see happening in Italy.
Yeah.
We can't just assume that it's not going to happen here.
Sure. We're not immune to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you prepare for that?
Mm.
So we were basically, kind of looking at ways that we can prepare for something like the unknowable.
Yeah, preparing for the unknown. Well, I'm sure
Yeah.
the background was helpful for them. Well, I want to thank you for sharing a virtual cup of coffee with me. And
Sure.
I
No
hope in the
problem.
future to be able to come by your school one day and see you in your element. So, to Elmwood Park Memorial High School.
All right.
All
Take
right,
care.
take care.